you will. Come on up to that cabin on the hill.
All right. We'll get started in 2 seconds. Hang on. Goddamn right, Bazzotti. That is, well, I'll tell you what, that is a band called Sugarcane Jane out of Alabama. That is Anthony Crawford, who is I don't even know, I'm not blood related. That's my brother-in-law's brother, Anthony, and his wife. They're excellent. They are insanely MAGA up and down the goddamn brain pan. To a point where I'm like, I don't know if I could sit with him at Thanksgiving, but I love him. Well, I don't know her, but Anthony's always been a good dude. And, but they're crazy, but they probably think I'm crazy too. But they sure are talented. I like them a lot. And that's Sugarcane Jane. If you're watching the show after the fact, you will not see them because I will cut them out because I don't have the copyright there or the ability. Welcome to the show. This is not Gabbing and Games. That's this afternoon. This is what I call the Jaffe stream. Let me just give you a quick heads up on how this works since it's a relatively new show. This is much more free chat. I have topics, of course. I have a lot of weird topics. I like weird shit that we will talk about. People are asking about the drama. I'm not really planning on doing any drama stuff today. The chat is open and I'll take your calls. There's a link at the top on the YouTube. And I'll talk about whatever you want. We won't tolerate hate speech or you guys being mean to people in the chat. Obviously, if you don't like me, you don't have to like me, and you can come at me however you want, but you can't kind of fuck up the chat. But you're welcome. You know, I'm a free speech absolutionist. Is that the way you say it? So welcome, hate watchers. I appreciate the engagement. I appreciate the extra money that's coming my way because the ads. And you know, here's the fun part. You never know. You might become a fan. You might. There you go, Bukaki. Yeah, Bukaki's a son of a bitch. He's the mod in the chat right now. He will cut you. Seriously. Anyway, the point, it's not the point. The point is that I don't plan on really getting in. Like someone's like, are you going to watch the Asmongold thing? And I asked the chat last night, I said, is this something you guys want to continue? And most people were like, yeah, no, it's fine. So unless something new happens or interesting happens, let's just, here's what you'll see at the finish line. They don't like me. I don't like them. Am I in a position to change my mind if I learn something new? Of course. I've never had a conversation in my life with Asmongold. I was in a group chat with him the other night with his handlers, but that was pretty much it. But you know, what's going to happen? You know, look, if the chat wants it, we can watch some of it, but let's go over some other news first. I do want to say Kanji, thank you so much, or Kanji, thank you to joining the Cult of Calypso. I appreciate it. We will be doing lunch with Jaffe this Thursday for Cult of Calypso members, God of War members, and mods of the YouTube and the Discord, and the Patreon members over on the Discord. And that's just exactly what it sounds like. Get some lunch. We'll watch videos. We'll hang out. It's like an hour and a half of just shooting the shit. Okay. Hello, Jaffe. What will be your Christmas game, says Patrol. A game you never played, but let me tell you something about that. Again, let me tell you something about that. So I was all primed last night to pick up Indiana Jones, the $100 edition, so I could play it on Friday. And then I started thinking that, you know, I'm really, and I'm not trying to stir shit up here, I am really enjoying Dragon Age. I'm about 34 hours in now. It might get boring soon. People say it gets repetitive, but so far I'm really digging it. And I'm kind of like, you know, man, I would love to finish that game. So I may actually finish Dragon Age over the weekend and save Indiana Jones for Christmas. I mean, when you do this type of work, you don't really get a Christmas break. I'm not complaining. I love the fact that I'll be streaming all through the Christmas holiday. But the one thing that was always fun about when you had a normal job was that it was like, at least like a salary job. it would be like, oh, you get 2 weeks off for Christmas and stuff. So you really have that concept of a Christmas game or a Thanksgiving game or whatever. But I think I might save Indiana Jones for Christmas, actually, because by the time it comes out, everyone will play it. I'll just kind of back off and not talk about it. Thank you, Kanji. Kanji says he's been lurking for years. It's about time that he joined. I appreciate it, buddy. Fuzzy Tomato says, I finished Dragon Age with 125 hours. You might be a ways off. Yeah, but it sounds like you did all of the side quests. You're telling me the main through line mission on Dragon Quest is like 80 hours? I heard it was more like 40, but then I may just get bored. Bloody hell, says Steven Southwick. I don't mean to be judgmental here. Why should today be any different? But when you shave that beard off, it makes you look about a decade younger. Oh, I know. I'm like, Steve Martin always had the white hair before his time, and people thought he was really old. And now that he is really old, he still looks like he did when he was 35. So the beard makes me look really old, but the fun part about the beard is I just get to wake up and live my life and not worry about it. People are going to be like, yeah, that tracks, Jaffe. In the sense that I was going to say the last time I actually owned a brush and combed my hair, I was like in high school. Even when I had hair in college in 20s, 30s, 40s, I was just like, I was just like, whatever. I just pushed it back and moved on with my fucking life. So it's a real pain in the ass, man, to deal with, things like that. So the huge beard was best. I can get that back in about 4 months. You should, Venlo, this is the problem with your generation. Look, I don't have a problem with men or women caring about their looks. I think some people are into that, and that's great. Venlo says you should keep it to hide the lack of a chin or jawline. When did men become so fucking vain about their looks? When did you guys get so like, don't you have things to do? When I was like 23, I was trying to take over the fucking world. I wanted to be the next Steven Spielberg, and then I wanted to be the Spielberg of video games, and I wanted to make shit and do shit. It's crazy to me. It's like you guys are like, you should do this with your caloric intake, and you should do this. Where's your chin, jawline, and looks max? Who is feeding you this garbage? I'm not saying don't take pride in your appearance. Don't take pride in your. Of course you do that. But my God, even Gina's in the chat right now. She says you. I'm gonna put some words into her mouth. She didn't say this, but she said they really are obsessed with their looks. But she's a young woman. She's out and about. She goes to all the parties. She's an LA, devotee kind of person, and she knows what's up. Fuck. She's saying don't do it either. It's gross. Jaffe, people are saying you went full misogynist. People are idiots. People don't know what misogyny means. People are stupid when it comes to stuff like that. Warped Eye said, just moisturizer. Hang on. Yeah, I mean, it wasn't a misogynistic statement. I'm happy to kind of not right now, because my chat has made it clear they don't want to get into the drama. Women definitely care, says Kojima, but men care so much about their appearance. It's fascinating. I know women care, and women have always, not always, but women care, and society sort of puts that on them, and that's either good or bad, depending on who you ask and what you're trying to achieve. But the number of men online, that, at least in the game sphere, seem to be obsessed with it. It's bizarre to me. Nerdettes Newsstand. Hello, Nerd. I like Nerdettes. I like Nerdettes Newsstand quite a bit. I do think it was messed up to say. It was absolutely messed up to say, talking about what I said to Vera Dark. It was mean. It was cruel. It was barbed. It was barbed as well. Wink. It was all those things, and it was meant to be all those things. It just simply wasn't sexist and misogynistic. Venlo, I would love for you to call in. Venlo says, LOL, this stream getting ratioed hard. Maybe Doomslayer says, I'll call in, but I got to put on my makeup. He says the stream's getting ratioed hard. Again, ratio the fuck out of it. I don't care. But what I am fascinated by, Venlo, is this idea that doesn't matter to you that you guys or a number of you guys have kind of jumped into the pond of things no one else cares about, but because you care about them, that's enough. Like when people leave on my comments, they'll say, LOL, take this ratio, LOL. And I'm just like, wow, you mean you don't like my opinion and I'm in the minority when it comes to this opinion? What is that supposed to? I mean, were you the kind of kid in class that you never raised your hand because you were afraid you'd say something stupid? Do you live your life that way? I mean, seriously, do you live your life that way? Or are you like sitting in meetings at work like, I had this idea and I want to say something, but I'm too shy. And what if they make fun of me? I mean, what's happening? What's happening with this generation? Johnny says you were sexist. I know you're not sexist. I wasn't, but I mean, there's nothing I can do. I've already said my piece on it. If you want to, have a semantics expert call in and talk to me about the origins and the current meaning of the word sexist, we can do that. But that's not anywhere close to being sexist. If you look at the definition, at least that I'm aware of. Okay. The whole ratioing thing is like an ego currency that YouTubers use to prove who is popular or not. It's kind of weird, says Dry Rub. Most of the time vids are just ratio bombed. I mean, oh no, I'm not popular on YouTube. What will I do? Right. Ben says the smartphone ironically made everyone dumb. Bukaki says, I don't have to worry about my looks too much. My high tea makes my musk pretty much irresistible to women. Yeah, I believe it. I believe it. I can kind of smell it through the goddamn computer. It's making me a little nauseous, truth be told. Tech Protect says, Jaffe, are we going to look at the Spotify Unwrap? If it's out today, I'll put it up on stream. Absolutely. That's right. Okay. Well, Johnny, listen, Johnny says, I'm glad you're putting the drama to bed. It's getting tiring. I don't put in this particular stream, the Jaffe stream, everything and anything is open to be talked about. I am more than happy to have drama if there's drama to be had, but to continue, unless somebody says, dude, the Asmongold video where he totally, I don't know what the verb you kids like, he totally fucking ripped your ass apart, blah, blah, blah. You got to watch that. Okay, maybe. But most of it's just, what's he going to say? What's he going to say that I haven't already fucking heard from him? Go clean your fucking apartment or wherever you live. Although I think he did. I'm here. Neil says I'm here from the Asmon community, but I think it's just interesting content. And by the way, I don't even know the guy. I don't even know him. I don't have any reason to like him or not like him. I know he's super fucking popular and all that, and that's great. And he and I may be best friends other than this one issue. I have no fucking clue. Or he may hate me. I don't know. I don't care. PK says, are you going to go through IGN's top 100 games? I will go through them later. We'll talk about them on today's stream. I did block him, yes, but I didn't block him for any reason I can remember. He may have just tweeted something or someone retweeted him, and I'm like, oh my God. But then I untweeted him. Let's bring on Mash. Mash, it's Jaffe. What's going on, bud?
Hey, can you hear me?
I can hear you. Can you hear me, Mash?
Yes, I can. Excellent.
You, Mash. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Matt, hang on. Can you guys hear Mash in the chat? Mash, are you using, what kind of microphone are you using? Nobody can hear you.
Sorry, it's just a Logitech system. I don't know if is that better now?
We can totally hear you. I was just fucking with you. What's up?
Okay. You're still hearing me now, right?
I can hear you great.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, I was just wondering, I don't know if this is aligned with the current, I guess, discussion points, but I was more thinking along the lines of AI and some of the topics with respect to that. I don't know if that's something that we can talk about today.
Well, whatever you want. It's free chat, baby. Go. What's interesting?
Excellent. So I wanted to run this idea by you. So now we're seeing AI run across, from my end, it's in the pharma industry. We see it taking over a bunch of different aspects. And one thing of note, especially that, when you train it on different platforms and, using previous information, you sometimes can't distinguish what's creativity, what's new versus what's old, what's, being leveraged based on previous platforms and previous information, what's completely, innovative or what would be considered innovative. So I thought with respect to, for example, game design, game story writing, and things along those lines, if we can actually distinguish the difference between, AI written content and human written content, And let's say you approach a point where that's no longer maybe required that you would list if something is AI driven or non AI driven. Is that a problem from your view? And do you think that's something that, if we're headed in that direction, especially if you think about other countries where maybe it's not as regulated or you don't have to provide that information as openly, what would that lead to? And maybe your thoughts there.
And you're talking specifically about as it relates to entertainment content, because you're in pharmaceutical. You mean just AI as it relates to kind of content?
Yes, in general. I think with respect to this one, maybe something more atone with game like story design, character design,
Right.
The creative aspect in particular.
Well, I mean, look, my answer, not surprising to a lot of people probably hate watching right now, though, is I think AI is great. I think there's two big problems with AI when it comes to creativity. Number one is the people who made the work that is being fed into it, that's training it. I think those people, there needs to be laws in place to make sure that those people are credited and paid and have some kind of residual system if they can get it. Because I don't think anyone should be cheated out of their hard work. But I also think that once it rolls into, that has not been even anywhere close to discussed and regulated and all that. So it's real shitty right now because of that. But assuming that can get resolved, and assuming that we as a culture figure out some kind of social safety net, whether it's meaningful universal base income or something else to account for the massive loss of jobs that is coming with this wave of AI, if you sort of separate the kind of morality of those things that I do think can be resolved, and they need to be resolved, I think it's amazing. I think, I say this all the time, but it's the step to the holodeck. It is the holodeck. I was watching this new company that just kind of, they're already a public company, but they're a private company. They've raised a bunch of money with VC, and they put out their demo the other day. I showed it on the stream where you can literally type in, what they did was type in a teenager's bedroom with guitars and rock posters and video games scattered everywhere. And just from a text prompt, it didn't just build image, it built a 3D image, and then it built a 3D image that you could move around in. Now, it was very limited. You couldn't move around that much, but you were able to, it was the first time I've ever seen text to 3D environment that was interactive, that you could navigate, that had collision and everything. That's amazing. So imagine if you look at the year that passed from Will Smith eating the pasta to Will Smith eating the pasta now, if you know what I'm talking about with the AI video, imagine now 5 years from now, you're going to be able to go into a game like Elden Ring, and it's going to be able to look at all of how you've played, and it's going to talk to Miyazaki at the beginning and say, here, Miyazaki wants this kind of experience for players, whether it's insanely hard for everyone, whatever, it doesn't matter. And it's going to write itself both thematically, creatively, and, difficult wise, mechanically in real time. I mean, it's going to be like, and then if you look at that and you look at some of this footage of like Cyberpunk 2077 that has been, I saw one guy post the other day footage that it crashes his computer if he runs it for more than 5 minutes, but it's everything just pumped through the most advanced graphics you can get real time. And if you take that visual fidelity and you take that AI writing itself in real time fidelity, I mean, no one's coming out of these games in about 20 years. We're going to have some kind of fucking epidemic where people just lose themselves, and it's nuts, but I love it. I think it's amazing if we can handle it in a way that is kind to humanity. But let's be clear, we're people, and we're a bunch of fucking selfish assholes, which sucks, and it's probably going to just be horrible. But that's sort of where it could go, and I'm very excited for it.
I appreciate it. And I guess maybe just as a final comment, thank you so much for having the open platform. I know sometimes we don't always see, eye to eye in various different topics, but you're always open, it seems, to, differing opinions. So for that, I'm thankful.
Oh, well, you're welcome. And let me just say this. How old are you? I'm curious about this.
37.
Okay. So I don't know where these generational markers are, but somewhere along the lines, I noticed that there is a generation demarcation and younger where it's like you have to have everybody agree with you or they're an asshole. And I'm not trying to like give myself a pat on the back or my generation a pat on the back, but that's relatively new to me. The idea that and I appreciate your thanks and thank you, you're welcome. But I'm just saying that for me, I'm just kind of like, when did that happen? When do you think that shift happened, that people got the idea that if you have ideas that they don't agree with, you're not welcome a seat at the table at all? There's a lot of people who have things I don't agree with, and I'm like, so what?
No, I agree. I mean, living in a silo and echo chambers never helps anyone, and then you don't get to expose yourself to all these new ideas.
That makes sense.
Yeah,
that makes sense. So it's social media probably brought on that expectation
Exactly.
of agreement. Yeah. All right. Thanks, buddy, for the call. I appreciate it.
My pleasure. Take
All right, there he goes, fellas. Let me bring in Courtney Williams. I'm going to make him uncomfortable. The best looking man on the internet. Here he is, Courtney Williams, coming in from New Zealand.
Jaffe.
What's up, buddy?
Hey, buddy, how's it going?
Very, very good. What's up with you?
I just wanted to two quick things. One was like hearing what's happened, sort of keeping tabs on the conversations over the last few days. Made me think of so I'm quite a big fan of Cliffy B, and I remember a quote from him talking about when he used to have to argue with his programmers when he was developing Unreal, and he said, what was it? He said, I used to get into these big arguments with the programmers all the time until I realized that it's like they're like a pig in the mud, like they like the argument. And I was like, this kind of relates, I think. Like, I'm not sure if you're the programmer who likes arguing or if the other side is, but I think for different reasons, seems like you want to have a truth, like an honest conversation, and they kind of just want to talk shit, would be my guess.
I mean, I can't say that as a blanket statement because I don't really know them, and I'm sure some of them may very so loud. Some of them may very well be real, genuine about their takes, and others I think are just full of shit. But I mean, I have always liked debate and discussion, and I have always come into it with a very open mind. Like I'll give you a great example. There's this guy, and this has nothing to do with politics. It has to do with UFOs and UAPs and all that shit. And I would love to believe UFOs and all that shit are real. And I'm sure in some way they are. That doesn't mean we have any of them in our skies. And there's this guy who actually was a programmer on Tony Hawk, who's now kind of made a name for himself in more of the debunking UFO, a guy named Mick West, right? And every time something happens, he just kind of applies relatively rational, normal science and says, well, this is kind of what's going on. And I'm like, I hate it, but I appreciate it. And we need that kind of stuff. Right. And so for me, the people that debate and discuss and really do it in good faith, I am such fans of, even if we disagree, maybe even especially if we disagree. For me, I like the drama. I like, that's the funniest part about it. People are like, you're a loud cow now and this and that. And I'm like, dude, this is fun for me. I mean, I love jumping into this and debating and arguing and trying to ultimately find a meeting of the minds. I'm not looking to be, confrontational, but I'm happy to be confrontational if there's a need to be, is what I would say.
Yeah, and that's fair. Quickly, I noticed you've had Frost on a couple of times.
I didn't have him on. He called me. I didn't know who he was, and then people are like, "Oh my God, you have Frost." I'm like, I don't know who that is, but apparently he's a pretty big deal.
He's the man. I reckon, like real good. He's generally really decent takes, and so like seeing an actual podcast with you guys would be sick. Like it'd be like a cool conversation.
Yeah, I'm the little dog in the match. So if he wants to entertain me and grow, I would love to have him because he's smart. He's got a great voice and he's got a big audience. What's not to love?
Man, he's got a sick voice. One last thing. This is more like a game related thing. I was just wondering, He-Man as an IP, like with all like the 80s and 90s stuff coming back, I feel like that's kind of like prime real estate for a like a sick sort of action adventure type game. Is it like just Mattel not wanting to let the IP go, or
you mean specifically He-Man related?
Yeah, like Master of the Universe or whatever.
There is a He-Man movie already. It's happening. Let me check real quick. Don't go anywhere. But I think it I think it is actually in production already. He-Man live action Like, I think they just cast Idris Elba as Man at Arms. Let's see.
Oh, nice. So, like, hopefully they can,
Master Universe 2026. Allison Brie from Community is Evil Lynn, and also from that wrestling show Glow. Oh wow, Tila is Camila Mendez, who was here. I'll put this on this. Well, I can't because I'll lose you, but she was Veronica in Riverdale. Idris Elba is Man at Arms, and somebody named Nicholas Galitzine is He-Man, and I guess he was best known for Purple Heart, Cinderella, The Idea of You. I've never heard of this guy.
Yeah, I know the dude. Yeah,
okay.
Weirdly, yes.
Now looking at him right now, I mean, he's not a very buff dude, but I'm sure he will get, super buff.
Do you think he'll be like the Prince version of the?
Prince Adam, and then when he becomes He-Man, it'll be. That's a good question. I don't know if they're going to actually change his physique like Captain America.
Get him on the juice for a bit.
Well, it's interesting because, in Captain America now they have the tech of doing skinny Steve Rogers and then doing.
Oh, yeah, true.
So they could do that, or they could have two different actors, or like Dolph Lundgren in the 80s He-Man, they could just give him a different costume and say you're good to go. But I think, what's really interesting now and fun now is seeing the kids who came up in the 90s who are taking over entertainment. Like there was a long stretch there where 80s and late 70s kids like me were able to kind of get out there, and we were kind of the prime creators in the space. But now you're starting to see the Ninja Turtle generation and the He-Man generation, and some of the Double Dare and all that shit. What was the Nickelodeon Treasures of the Something Temple? Those are the guys and girls who are now kind of sitting at the head of the creative table in a lot of places. And like I was watching last night, I watched the first episode on the stream with some of the members of Skeleton Key, which is the new Star Wars. But it's really interesting because it's clearly someone said, let's take the Goonies, let's take E.T., let's take all those 80s and early 90s kind of suburbia Spielbergian movies, but let's put them in the Star Wars universe. And it's surprisingly good, but it is still really interesting to kind of see what a suburban neighborhood looks like in Star Wars. I mean, it's really neat. I guess my point is it's really neat to see the marbling of that 90s kid generation now affecting modern entertainment. So yes, a He-Man movie is coming. I think it's time. I have this gorgeous fucking book back here called The Art of Masters of the Universe, and it's all the toys and all the concepts.
Whoa, I thought that was going to be The Art of Master something else.
I have the internet for that, you old knuckle. No, it's The Art of Masters of the Universe, and it's excellent.
Oh, nice, nice.
Yeah. And then, do you ever watch that show, The Toys That Made Us on Netflix?
I saw it, but I saw it there, but I haven't got to it yet.
Okay, there's one on He-Man. There's one on Master.
Funnily enough, man, like all the stuff, say like 80s stuff, got to New Zealand. So I was born in 1990. All that late 80s American stuff got to New Zealand, like I reckon about 5 years later, we started getting. So like all that older generation is kind of still the stuff that I had when I was a kid too, because we just got it years later. So,
wait till you see Star Wars. You're going to love it. I know it's not out yet. All right, buddy. Thank you, Courtney.
Sweet. Thanks, David.
There he goes, fellas. Big bad Courtney into the night. Warped Eye says Master of the Seven Universes. That's right. Atha says, funny, Vera Dark can shit on everybody in every game, but you stand up for something now and everybody is mad. I mean, that's the funniest part. First off, yes, nothing was sexist about what I said, but that said, yeah, it's like all of their shit is, look, they're making the women ugly, and they're getting rid of hot women in the games and all this. And the minute I say the reason you're successful, from what I can tell based on what I've seen, is because you're an attractive woman, I'm the sexist. I don't know. Let's get some of these wonderful and kind super chats. Mash, is this where I type for it to appear in the stream chat? No, you can type it wherever you want. Let me get let me read these real quick. 1 second. And I appreciate them, fellas. Like we said, Kanji, welcome to Cult Calypso. Mash, who we just talked to, good sir Mash, thank you so much for stepping up and joining the Diet Soda Soldiers. Very, very much appreciated, buddy. SSH77, thank you for that generous super chat. He says, listen, ignore the blatant trolls that show up in chat. Much respect to you, sir. Always a fan. Thank you, good sir SSH. You know, if the here's what I'll tell you, and the trolls must know this. They must know this, SSH. If they say something that I can farm and turn into entertainment or content or a conversation, I'm grateful. If not, I ignore it. And if Bukaki sees it or Rob sees it or RPG sees it in the chat and it's hateful towards anyone, we just ban them. So, but I appreciate the heads up and thanks, buddy. Frito Sandwich, thank you for the super chat. He says, love you. I love you right back, Frito. Not as much as your cousin Dorito, but because you're Chip. Love you, Twisted Metal, PS1, God of War, PS2. Help me through tough times. And Veilguard is my personal game of the year. On behalf of all of us who made those games, man, thank you. I've said this before. The older I get, the more I hear those things from people that grew up playing games I got to work on, and I love that in some weird way, we could be there to kind of help entertain you and help you escape and all that. As for Veilguard, I can't tell you if it's my game of the year yet, but it is easily in my top 5. And I'm not trying to troll, and I know it's got a lot of hate. A lot of people are disappointed, and I'm saying this as a fan of, it's not that I dislike the earlier Dragon Age games. I've only played one of them, but so I don't have that, expectation of what it's supposed to be that I'm taking with it. So coming in, to that game, just sort of with that mentality, I fucking think it's great. I'm loving it. Ludo's at 20 hours in. I'm like 30 something hours in. It's a game that provides a great sense of adventure. My favorite section of the map so far is that necropolis, but last night I started spending a lot more time in the Elven Forest area with all the beams and shit. It's fucking awesome. Prince Green says, so far, Jaffe, you like a lot of games this year that people hate, like Star Wars Outlaws and now Dragon Age. Pretty cool. I can respect that. I think it's just because I like games maybe for very, very different reasons than other people. I like games, at least of that ilk, that send me on an adventure. And those scratch that fucking itch delightfully. I loved Black Myth Wukong, but it's not in my top 5 of the year because it's so gamey and it's so systems based and it's so technique based that I very quickly fall out of living an adventure, and it's more about every single enemy. Well, not every single enemy, but everything is about a challenge to prove my skill. And some people love that. That's what a lot of people love about games. But for me, that's just not, I want an adventure. I've never come to video games with a need or a desire to try to sort of prove my abilities or anything. It's just not what I do. Okay. All right. Let me get I gotta show you something. So last night I ordered Grubhub Taco Bell. Okay. And and this is how addicted I am to the shit that they put in diet sodas, which is, I assume it's the aspartame. It's not the caffeine. Caffeine doesn't affect me. Which is, I will, if it's late at night and the only thing that's open is Taco Bell, I will spend $30-$40 just to order Taco Bell, just to get diet Pepsis, because they don't have Diet Cokes there. And yeah, I'll get burritos with it, but that's how pathetic it is, right? So anyway, I order 3 Diet Pepsis and some burritos, but the Grubhub app, or at least on my PC, is kind of shitty, and they have where you tip the driver. You have to kind of go out of your way to find it. It's not just sort of part of the waterfall flow of the process of checking out. So from time to time, I forget. And last night I realized at like 2 a.m. I jumped up and I'm like, oh my God, I fucking forgot to tip the guy. So I went, and you can tip them retroactively. But I remember when I looked in the fridge when I was putting the other Diet Pepsis away that I wasn't drinking, I saw this one, and this one still has the sticker on it, but look how little there is there. This guy either poured some out, drank some, or spit it. I don't know what he did, but am I correct? I should not be drinking this, right? I forgot to tip the guy, And this is what one of the Diet Pepsis fucking looks like. This is something you do not drink, correct? It's not happening. It doesn't matter. Fuck it. I got Diet Cokes now. But I just wanted to say that's probably not accurate. I mean, that's probably not a safe thing to put in my hole. Hole. That could mean a lot of things. Is he talking about his ear? Well, I know it's sealed, Crumb, but you know, how hard is it to go, Well, maybe it is hard. Okay, well then yeah, you're right. It's kind of hard to take that off without people knowing. But you know, if you're a fucking DoorDash driver, you probably got the skills. So you could do it. You could do it. You know? Anyway, all right. How much to drink it? Yeah, you want to send me $50? You send me $50, RP, and I'll drink a big fucking gulp of that fucking thing. Yeah, maybe he's a very dark fan. You goddamn right. No. Goodrich says, see, you still live in LA. Goodrich is a game developer. He says, wait, you could order from any restaurant in the world in San Diego, and you ordered Taco Bell. Worst game dev ever. Listen, fucker. If I still lived in LA, I would have a bevy of choices. Is bevy and choices redundant? Bevy is lots. It doesn't matter. I'd have lots of places to order from that are open at, 1 a.m., midnight. But, this is it in San Diego. And they're not even 24/7. The only 24/7 is Jack in the fucking Box. So, anyway. All right. Let's focus. Come on, Jaffe, focus. It's not redundant. Okay. Let me show you guys some stuff. Kratos would go to Del Taco. I'd go to Del Taco. They don't have one here. Why did you move from LA? How do you like San Diego? I love LA. I miss Santa Monica desperately. I have too many roots here with the kids and their friends and the ex to just up and move back. But we moved here because when we had our second kid, it was just like, we want to raise them in a more quote normal environment, and San Diego has just a lot, it's just, it's a safer kind of more traditional place, but, it's San Diego and San Diego is great for a lot of people. Like people adore it. But for me, I like the energy that you get with LA. Tech says, have you considered moving out? Yeah, if everybody moved with me. I mean, at this point, I would love to be out of San Diego now because it is so expensive to live here that, I would love, there are problems and pros about everywhere, but the amount of money that people have to spend to live in San Diego is gross. And since no one really needs to be here anymore, for careers, it's, it might happen because it's kind of goofy how much we spend to live here. Prince Green says, I live in New York City. I would love to live in San Diego because of Comic-Con, but I couldn't afford San Diego. You live in New York City and you can't afford San Diego? Damn. I would not want to live in LA. Kevin says, I live in LA, but I want to move out. I would not want to live in LA if I couldn't live in around Montana Avenue and Santa Monica. I would not want to live in LA proper, like Miracle Mile or something. No. Okay. Let's see. Zandatsu says, I think you're more of a Cincinnati kind of guy. I think I would be depressed if I lived in Cincinnati. It just feels like the kind of place you go to be depressed. Would I live in Compton? No, but I have, or I've lived close to it. Let me tell you something. That's where I saw my first dead body. Like I see them all the time. When I went to USC, which is in South Central LA, me and my roommate, whose name was Ramses, who's now a big shot agent in the movie biz, which makes total sense. You should have seen him in college. So we would hear ambulances and we would get in the car and we would go look. We wanted to see what was going on in the neighborhood. And we were living in these apartments that students lived in called, I don't know, Cardinal Gardens, I think, or whatever. And we heard an ambulance and we chased it. And it was about maybe a mile away from the apartments. And I saw the first dead body I'd ever seen, which is it was kind of in a rundown neighborhood. We got out of the car and it was this woman, just this very benign looking, she wasn't like some gangster or anything. She's just some old, 50-year-old lady sitting in the front seat of her car. And she looked very, very peaceful. But the only thing to denote she was no longer with us was there was a little hole right here, and there was a little trickle of blood that had come out of the hole, right? So whatever it was that ended it was all happening internally, because it looked like a little, and inside it must just, Point is, I lived close to that, and there were helicopters always overhead constantly. It was fun. I loved living. I mean, that wasn't fun. That was terrible for that woman and her family. But I'm just saying, it was a horror. Shut up. Blackie Cat says she was Indian. No, idiot. Okay. I would never live in Florida. No, it's too humid. You don't get it. She was shot. She was absolutely shot in the head by someone, or I don't think it was her doing. Tell these Asmongolders about the LA riots. I mean, yeah, I went, let me tell you something, Linda. Here's my big LA riot story is I'm downtown anyway, because the woman who became my ex-wife, who at the time was my friend, I was at her place, and she lived downtown in Chinatown. But anyway, I'd come back to Santa Monica or wherever, and a friend of mine who would go on to marry a very famous comedian, who I will not tell you who it is, was downtown. She lived in the heart of downtown, and she called me, and we were just talking, and I said, dude, you can't be down there. And she says, cabs, this was before Uber. She's like, cabs aren't coming. And I said, I'm going to come get you. I'll come get you. Right. So I get in my car. I had a Bronco 2. Shut up. I love the Bronco 2. Go fuck yourself. I love my Bronco 2. I get my Bronco 2. JJD says it looks like I'm about to womanize the shit out of someone. Sure. And I drive down to LA, and you're driving through it. I've never been in a war zone, so I don't know if it looks like a war zone, but it looks like a war zone in a movie. How about that? And I'm driving through, and maybe 5 minutes getting off the freeway, and she's about 5 minutes away from there. I see this car right in front of me, and its window just goes and explodes and gets shot out. And I'm like, I am so dead. Because this is when they dragged Reginald Denny out of his truck and beat the shit out of him, right? And as much as people say, you're not Jewish, you're white. I don't know what that means, or you're not white, you're Jewish. There was no distinction. It wouldn't be like, hey, sometimes I celebrate the Hanukkah, fellas. Go easy on me, right? You would have been dead. But they... Oh, fuck you, Uncensored. Look at Uncensored Maverick. He said, this is a boring story. Really? Think about that for a minute. Think about that for a minute, you whore. That I basically, any story that's not the Asmongold, well, then go watch Asmongold. Everybody else is. What do I care? Jesus Christ. Point is, hey, I'm a goddamn hero. Is the point. I'm the goddamn man you wish you were. And I don't care what you talking about. You're a loud cow. Fine. But I'm the goddamn man you wish you were. I'm the man you want to hang out with. And I'm the man your woman wants to fuck. And that did fuck your mother last night. And she owes me $50. Come on, man. I need that money. All right. that was it, Doomslayer. There's nothing else. Thank you, buddy. I appreciate it. How's it going, buddy? Where are you right now? How are you able to text me right now? They're mad. They're getting mad, boys. Peloton's getting mad. Caleb says, not going to lie, Jaffe won't move to Texas because he'd probably get punched if he publicly said what he said about Vera. What did I say about Vera? Really? I grew up in the South, Caleb, whatever the fuck. I don't know what your name is. I grew up in the fucking South. Okay. Trust me. You want to see a bunch of institutionalized racism and sexism. That's where you go. But I didn't even say anything that was sexist. But I'd go, if I was in Texas, I'd go to Austin. No, I go downtown. I get to her apartment. She gets in. She gets in. I bring her back. Okay. I'm not. Okay. Okay, fine. Oh man. I'm not telling you that story, but here's what I'll tell you. I bring her back to our place, and then that night a car, because we were in Culver City, in a car, it's like, oh shit, the riots are starting to move this way, and a car crashes in front of a tree right across the street, which was a crack house, or at least we think it was a crack house. And so then we went to Ramses's cousin's apartment, like 5 floors up in Beverly Hills. And so we were staying there for about a week during the riots, and that's where we kind of hunkered down as the city burned. There's my story. So, when is that chick going to be on the goddamn show? What chick? People using sexist is as bad as woke and grifter. It has no meaning, says Blue Gamer. I mean, that is the thing. The terms have changed, and I really wish, and maybe this is coming in the same way now that you can look at, you can get these glasses, like the Meta glasses, I think, are starting to do it, where it'll translate in real time. Maybe it'll be a generational translation. Like a lot of times people will say, I'll bet you're a feminist, Jaffe. No, this is not the comedian I brought back. She went and married she's currently married to a famous comedian. Hang on. And she paid me, so she wanted to be an actress at one point, and she paid me money to make a movie with her. And I was a terrible movie director, but I was a good bullshit artist, and I thought I was going to be a great movie director. So I was able to kind of, convince her. I didn't have to convince her that hard. So she got the money from her parents, and I directed the movie. It was terrible. But anyway, am I still friends with her? Kind of, sort of. We found each other on Twitter a while back, but then I think she unfollowed me because I'm very vulgar and she's very, Critically Realist says, do you think being Jewish helps you get a job at Sony? Yeah, because the Japanese love the Jews. I think you're thinking of the Chinese that love the Jews just because that's where they eat on Christmas Day. Seriously, there was a whole article in the New York Times last year about the Jewish-Chinese relationship and the fact that the Jews are in some weird way loved by the Chinese, at least in sort of retail and business, because they've really kept they keep the Chinese restaurants going during the Christmas season. But anyway, point is though, no, I haven't been Jewish since I was 7 years old, in terms of like someone who says, are you religious? And I'd say, oh, I'm Jewish. I haven't said that since I was 7, because I haven't been it since I was that. These days, if you hold a door open for a woman, it is considered sexist. Well, I don't know if I agree with that. I mean, I hold the door open for everybody if they look like they need it. I think the difference is if you hold the door open for someone or for a woman and it's clearly you only do it for women you find attractive, is that sexist? No, I don't think that. I'd have to think about that, but it certainly is not a good look for whatever that's worth. I wouldn't recommend it. Muslims are eating in Chinese joints on Christmas too, says Mutant Mo. Well, there you go. So it's both the Jews and the Muslims. They have something in common. See, I don't know where they're always fighting. The stream is laggy. Is it laggy for anyone else? I don't know much about Vera, says Frosty, but it's a well-known fact when an attractive young woman has a large YouTube following, it's usually virtue signaling neckbeards trying to get into her pants. I mean, yeah. And again, I mean, there are plenty of women who do YouTube content that also happen to be attractive, that do really good, well thought out content. I just don't think she's one of them. That's all. Warped Eye says, it's a problem when you push the door closed when someone ugly is coming up. That's right. Critically Realist says, I remember you telling a story about you flexing your contacts on movies to get promoted. No. It wasn't that. It was, and this is not a knock against QA at the time. It's just that most of the people that got hired for QA at the time were, kind of antisocial, geeky, hardcore gamer types, very stereotypical. And so when I came in, coming out of college and coming out of, being obsessed with movies and the film business and having done pitches all over town in the business and all that stuff, they were just like, holy shit, who is this guy who's just supposed to be this, summer tester? And why is he reading Variety? And why is he taking off the afternoon to go have a pitch meeting at Universal? So it was more that they were like, okay, I got on their radar, I think, at first because I was unique, I guess, from what they were used to seeing in that particular space. But it wasn't like I was name dropping or anything. Hey, Ricardo, what's up, buddy? Ricardo's calling in from darkest Peru. He's got Paddington sitting on his lap, eating marmalade and telling ghost stories. I love it. I don't know much about her channel, but it's popping up in my feed, says Frosty. Now, probably since I follow you, people are making a lot of content. Yeah, they're welcome to it. You're welcome. Merry Christmas. Enjoy your extra money. But yeah, whatever. You were not socially in other words, says Courtney. Yeah, no. I mean, they weren't either. It's just that they were very, they would bring their issue of, what is it, Shonen Jump or whatever to lunch, and I would bring Daily Variety. It was kind of like that. Captain Hero, I did hear that. We can talk about X Defiant shutting down later. Bradley Glasgow says YouTubers need controversy to survive. God, I hope not. I mean, I absolutely like controversy. It's fun. It's entertaining. It's theater, but I don't want it to be the only thing. You're here from Sungrand's channel, one of the best roasters on YouTube, says Caleb. Okay. Well, cool. Well, welcome, I suppose, unless you're an asshole, then go fuck yourself. But, oh my God, leave the beard. What is wrong with you guys? Why are you obsessed with the beard? It's just a beard, man. It comes, it goes, it comes, it goes. I don't think about it. Let me ask you a question. This is coming from, Mara Attar. You should grow your beard back. You look like a dick without it. So I'm serious. I'm oh my God. I'm curious about what he is saying. Do you think about, like, how long does it take you, Attar, when you leave the house? Like, do you just go? Like, I just go. If someone said, Jaffe, run to the store, this would be what I'm running to the store. Do you spend a lot of time just to go out to get the mail and shit? I put on a fake beard to make them happy. Yeah. I don't know what to tell you. It's everyone's emotional comfort beard. The Doomslayer says the beard comments get to Jaffe. They don't get to me. It's one of those things that I can't get my head around. So it's fascinating to me that, leave me alone. I'm not thinking about it, you fucking whores. Shut up. Okay. Blackie Cat says here's how this usually goes, by the way, fellas. Blackie Cat says the beard made you so sexy. Blackie Cat, are you a man or a woman? Here we go. I'm waiting. Let's go, Blackie Cat. You man or a woman? A man. See, which is fine. I appreciate the nice compliment. I got no issues with that. But, trust me, if I had a bunch of women saying, dude, that beard, fuck yeah. In a heartbeat. JJD says, you Bob Hoskins looking dude. Did you know that Bob Hoskins of Eddie and Mermaids, but Eddie and Roger Rabbit, was Stan Lee's pick to play fucking Wolverine? Can you believe that? That would have been interesting. That was why am I poking the other poor YouTubers, says Ricardo. I'm not. I'm just, I'm not. Have I ever done cocaine? No. I have done only pot, but I have no interest in cocaine or anything that's synthetic, but I would very much love to do DMT and psilocybin and all that. I'm all into the psychedelics, man. Oh, 1 minute says they're gay for you, Jaffe, which is great. Thank you for being gay for me. Thank you of allowing me to exist in your masturbatory fantasies. Hell, some of you guys are probably doing it right now, and that's fine. But could I get, for every 20 dudes that I hear, can I get one woman going, me too? Never. It's the only time I want to hear a woman say me too. Come on now. That's not nice. That's not sexist. It's really not. Jaffe shaved for his date with Vera at the Olive Garden. Look, I don't know about her. I think that, like, there are some of these people, I think if I sat with them off camera, I could connect right with them. I don't know about probably her. I could probably connect with her if it was like, look, let's just talk. No cameras. This won't be filmed. This will just be us talking. It's not content. I don't know. Probably could. You're not banned, Zan. I can see. I don't ban people unless, Bukaki might ban you, but no, I see your comment. Oh, I love that. Francesco says, Jaffe, you look like Caillou. Caillou was fucked, man. My kids used to watch Caillou, and we would just like laugh at that little fucker. I don't know her, but I judge her. I do. Yes, I judge her. Let's be clear. You guys are nuts. You guys act like you telling me I was mean to her, I was cruel to her, and I was judgy towards her is a gotcha. That was the goal. That's like telling a downhill skier in the Olympics, you skied fast and you're being accusatory. It's like, yes, I wanted to draw metaphorical blood because she had done the same or attempted to do the same. Yes, I wasn't trying to be nice to her. Hey, McGee, don't fucking show up here and act like, oh, this is negative. I told you it's the Jaffe stream. Gabbing and Games in the afternoon is positive. Well, it may not be positive, but it's all gaming entertainment. This is free chat and shit like that. Yeah, it was trash talking. Of course. Of course. Okay. Yeah, I guess you're not allowed to stand up for yourself. I guess not. Do you think Kamala's campaign was robbed? How she spent 1.4 billion and 20 million in debt? I don't know, man. I look, I voted for her. I'd vote for her again. I liked her. I would have voted for a tin can against Trump because I don't like the guy. Okay, yeah, Tech Protect says, hey, look at your Spotify Wrapped. I'm curious. Yeah, let's go to it. Let me bring it up real quick. I guess that happened when my kids were younger. They used to do YouTube Rewind, which they stopped doing, which sucks because I really enjoyed that. But Spotify Wrapped is, taking care of it. So, Ricardo says this is the chat for sad, broken, negative people. Yeah. Side scroller seems they are holier than thou. Okay. Let's go to my Spotify. I'm assuming. All right, here's my Spotify. You're more than welcome to mock it relentlessly. I don't care because I'm not one of these people that is ashamed of the kind of music I like. So let's find out. Should you guess? I mean, you can guess, Radical Dizzy. I have no idea because I go back and forth between listening to music during the day on Spotify as well as YouTube. So, I had a period in the summer where I was doing a lot of working out with the MetaQuest, and I was using Spotify playing through my Alexa. So, but let's find out. Jaffe definitely listens to Celine Dion, says Lawton. I don't. There's a few songs of hers I really, really like. But I'm not. I was listening to Harry Connick's When Harry Met Sally last night. Okay. So where do I go, Tech Protect? Your top songs 2024. I don't want to listen now because I don't want to get a copyright. So is there just a visual of it I can see it? I have no issues with, I don't know her personally. Like, I don't mean that. I don't know if she's got bad reputation. Deep Thrust says, oh, I bet you do a lot of working out in VR. LOL. LOL. Oh, you're using the L twice. I see. There's a racquetball game I like to play. But if you're talking about virtual reality pornography, you guys are fucking nuts. If you ever look at porn, and I'm sure most of you do, and you haven't sampled the wares in VR pornography, you're a goddamn moron. You're doing it wrong. Okay. I hate to get personal here about that, but if you ever look at pornography and you choose not to look through the lenses of the MetaQuest pancakes, you're a fucking moron. Because what are you talking about? It'll absolutely, it's going, the minute you can put on these fucking glasses, 10 years from now, you put on these glasses, they're AR glasses, and a beautiful woman or whatever you're into appears in your home. It's over. It's fucking over. You'll see the birth rate just go. You're already seeing it, but you'll see it more. Chun-Li VR porn. Imagine that. Imagine Chun-Li from the Street Fighter appears in your room and you fight her, and then you have the sexy. Come on now. I'm glad to hear that, Mutant. So wait, I'm waiting for Tech Protect. I'd love to show you, but I don't know where to go. Let me take this off the screen just to make sure that it doesn't. I don't want to play anything that gets a copyright thing. So let me remove this first. So and let me click it and see if they just give me text. Because if it just starts playing music, it's going to hit the copyright stuff. So, oh, here we go. Okay, all right. So it's just text. All right, it is telling me my top song. So let's see. I'm not going to go through all of them because I think there's 100, but I'll show you. I'll pick out the main ones. Here we go. Can I make this bigger a little bit? So What You Want by Lawrence, right here, right now. Jesus Jones, Chocolate, the 1975. Something Happened on the Way to Heaven. 25, Angry, Mars Argo. I don't even know what that is. Shadows of the Night, Pat Benatar, Surrendering, Alanis, 21. Let's do the top 10. Okay, let's do the top 10. Colors, that's weird. Maybe because it's really long. Phil Collins, Another Year. I don't even know what that is. Number 9. Boys Lie, that makes sense. It's a great song. Avril. Walking on a Thin Line, Huey Lewis. Izzo, Hova, Jay-Z, number 6. Some Nights, number 5 from the cast of Glee. Starry Eyed, this might be my kids get into this a little bit. All Summer Long, Kid Rock. The Sound, 1975. Guy used to be by Lawrence, number 1. Here's Tech Protect.
Want to talk to your dad real quick, okay?
Hang on, let me get rid of this. Tech, are you there?
Hi, how's it going?
Good. What's going on?
Oh, how do I hear you through here?
Come
on.
on.
Your Spotify Wrapped, you're gonna have to go on your mobile phone.
You're on the show, right?
Visual.
Oh, I have the visual. It just tells me my top songs of 2024. Yeah, I think you got a delay, Tech.
I think you got a delay, Tech. Yeah.
I'm gonna hang up, Tech, just because there's a really bad delay.
Can I join on?
Okay. But if you're watching, which I know you are, yeah, hit me back if we can fix that. But right now there's like a 7-second delay, so it's kind of hard to converse. But I do have it on the thing. I have it up on the the screen there. And so, yeah, I mean, so there's my top songs. I mean, there's nothing really surprising. Somebody was like, oh, you're going to have Celine Dion, which again, I don't care. I like Celine Dion a little bit. I don't know much of her music, but like she had this one song in this Robert Redford movie that was great. Your generation, the younger generation deals with a lot of shame, don't you? You guys are really like 30 and younger. If you're 30 and younger, I bet, or maybe 35 and younger, you guys have a lot of shame-based culture, like what song somebody likes or what game somebody likes or the ratio. Like, I want to see an anthropologist kind of do a paper on this. I'm fascinated by this. It's like, what were the events in our Western culture that triggered an entire generation to be so worried about what the other people think? Because I know that used to be an evolutionary thing. Obviously, we needed each other to survive. It was DNA, blah, blah, blah. But, we've evolved out of that in a lot of ways. We've been able to sort of find our own people and find our own sense of self-soothing. And it seems that maybe we've regressed in that. It's disturbing. To me, it is. You guys may love it. That's great. Tech Protect, maybe I can do that later. That seems real complicated for me to do on the fly with all the other things I got to. He says, on your phone, open the app, get the share link to post on X. Okay, but let me ask you, isn't it just telling me my top songs of the year? Because I do have that. If you look at my stream right now, here are my top songs. Here's a song by Katy Perry, Never Really Over, one of her best songs, totally bombed. Nobody liked it, but boy, it was good. Here is literally Phil Collins covering one of the most classic Bob Dylan songs of all time that most music aficionados would mock me for. The times they are changing, but it's fucking great. It's a fucking great song. There's Kyrie by Mr. Mister, Life is Good by Joe Walsh, Stir It Up by Patti LaBelle from Beverly Hills Cop. This is what I got. You got to just look at that. Look at that. Off the Wall. Don't stop till you get enough. I'm about to break copyright just to fucking play that song. That is some of Michael Jackson's best fucking music. off the goddamn fucking wall. Can you believe that fucking album? Man, that guy was talented. Droptimus, thank you, buddy. He says, I bought Dragon Age only because the anti-woke incels were crying, but you were right. It's actually really good. I love the combat. Yeah. I mean, you know, maybe one of the reasons that I do get a little riled about that stuff is, again, it's not my job to make you find games that you'll love. I don't feel like I have some responsibility to communicate the great games to you. It's nothing like that. But it is, it's just crazy to me that people are allowing that kind of groupthink to keep them away from some really good fucking video games, man. Again, I do not deny people's desire to go, I'm pissed because this isn't Dragon Age. I've said it ad nauseum. I get it. But if you're not coming at it with that, yeah. So like, Atar says Dragon Age sucks. I played previous games. It's an outright downgrade, right? If you're coming at it because you wanted X and you got Y, I totally, yeah, it makes all the sense in the world to me. But if that's not in your criteria and you just look at it as a straight up game, and maybe you can't do that, because, you know, you were so invested, then I get it. I absolutely get it. If you have no shame, drop your corn history, like KORN, or do you mean the corn girls? I don't know what you mean when you say my corn history. What's the combat like, says Nerdette. It is, I did not see the review from Angry Joe, and maybe he did have great points. I have no idea what his points were. The combat is very flashy. I'm playing the rogue. It's very flashy. There's some fun, I think they call them abilities, but kind of fun, you know, Diablo-like 4 or 5 little specials that fill up over time. The enemies are kind of, sort of beyond spongy in the sense, not spongy's wrong. It's hit points. There's a little nuance to fighting the enemies. If you're looking for like a Devil May Cry or a Souls or a Ninja Gaiden or a Wukong, it's not that. It's like take God of War 3 and then add a little complexity, and then on top of that, add the ability to pick who your teammates are. You can bring in 2 teammates at any time, and they have their own suite of moves and abilities, and a lot of those can combine to do combos, and obviously some are going to have different effects that you can tune up and upgrade and stuff like that. So there's a bit of a meta and then a meta to the combat that makes it feel more than just flashy and hack and slashy. And it's fun. It's very satisfying, and it's only one of the sort of legs of the tripod, though. It's not, you know, if you look at Black Myth, it's primarily about the combat. This has, I think, really great exploration. I think the puzzles are slightly above what you see in this kind of game. They're not great, but there's, you know, they're more engaging than just flip a switch. The combat's really flashy and fun. It's good. Brad says it's a AA game at best. And my answer is, I don't care what you think. And again, I mean, this is what I'm saying. It's like, why can't the response be, that's cool, you like it, Jaffe. I'm happy you're finding a game you really like. I get it. You don't like it. Don't play it. What do I care? Thank you, Johnny Utah. I don't care. I'm Batman says, you do care what he thinks. You're misreading. What I care about is what I'm fascinated by, Batman, Bruce, is the psychology behind the need to push back on what is clearly an opinion, right? That's what I care about, or I'm interested in. It's not that I go home and I say, Brad Glasgow doesn't like what I like. Am I wrong? It's more like, this is amazing to me. Why is it a thing? Okay. I need a new game. I may try Dragon Age today. Yeah. I mean, I'm trying to think if I don't know if there's a trial for it or not. I hate for you to waste your money, but Here's what I'd say. If you are one of those, old school Dragon Age people, my understanding is you might not like it if you want that, but it's also the writing. I would say the writing in the game is, I really like some of the narrative writing, like what the adventure is about. And I really like the depth of the relationships between the characters, but it is written like a CW young adult novel is what I would say. Brad Glasgow says, but there's no need to push back. We should be able to share our opinions that you like a game I don't, and vice versa. Right. The difference is though, is in maybe, it's in the way you are sharing it. Right. If it were me and I was in somebody's chat and they were clearly talking about something they enjoyed and I didn't, and I felt the need to let people know that I didn't agree with the person who was speaking, I would say, I would just kind of, buttress up the intention with some words that made it sound less aggressive. I would be more like, oh, interesting. Yeah, I didn't find that. For me, the game was this. And I'd be like, all right, cool. That's somebody sharing an opinion. But you coming in and kind of staking a claim going, it's a AA game at best. I'm like, what? That sounds like you're just being a dick, is what I would say. The Flash, hey, Doomslayer says CW is honestly way better. The Flash early seasons were great. I guess I'm talking about more things like Riverdale and the teen shows. I love The Flash all the way through, though. All the way through. Okay. Jaffe, go to the beach. You're whiter than my ass, says Johnny. It's a little racist, sir. It's a little bit racist. You literally said I should have died from COVID. Okay. I don't remember saying that, and maybe that's because I wrote you off because I was hoping you were dead. But that said, I don't remember who I shit talk and who's just normal. So, apologies. Okay. There's nothing wrong, says Dry Rub, with not liking a game, but there is something wrong with classifying a game as A or AA and thinking it makes it bad. Yeah, I would agree. My God. 1 Minute Gamer says, I think D&D is corny as fuck, but I'll never shoot down people that like it. Yeah. I think your mom's butthole was corny as fuck last night. I still have little kernels on my pee-pee. Did you guys hear what I... Dear God, please let me come to heaven and be with the angels and not with the Satan. Okay. All right. Let's move on. But I did go over my Spotify. I don't know. Tech Protect. I'll set it up. Maybe if it's really interesting, I'll put it. I'll put it on the afternoon show. But I don't know, man. I got nothing really. That interesting. Plus, I also got some things on here that I don't even know where they came from. Like I get this, like sometimes I'll put on Spotify working music, like this is like space ambient background music, but like Foolish One, Taylor's version, Speak Now, I couldn't even tell you what that song is. I love Taylor Swift, but I don't think I've ever heard that song. So I don't know if my kids were on my account or what. Look at that. Gloria Love, Peter Cetera, Karate Kid 2. Come on now. Hello, Geno Soul. Okay. Twisted Seth, hello. Okay. Coopertronic says, Jaffe, much support from Colombia. We don't care about the irrelevant politics and games. We just enjoy them. Good. I am a huge Swiftie. I love being a Swiftie. I just don't know that song. That's all. I'm not knocking it or anything. So this is the guy that they hired to play He-Man, by the way. We were talking about earlier with Courtney. Like I said, he's going to have to buff up, but I'm sure he can, or I'm sure the CG can take care of it. But it's interesting that they've I wouldn't say they've surrounded him with other people that are huge stars, but they definitely have more chops. The biggest star is probably Idris Elba for Man at Arms, basically. What else I got, though? Let's look at some stuff. Look at this. You ever see this? Look at this. This is how they film sex scenes. I never thought about this. You ever think about this? Like, I don't know what movie this is, but this is the perspective of the girl looking at the guy while they're fucking. Look at that. That's awesome. I've never in my life thought about this. Now, my brother used to work on movies and TV shows, and he worked on like shows with a lot of sex in them. He worked on that Vampire True Blood show and shit. So, I mean, I'm sure he's like, and he was up there. He was the guy with the camera, or the guy next to the camera guy, because he was pulling focus and all this stuff as a first AC. So he's probably like, yeah, what did you think it was? But I've just never thought about it. And I saw this come across the Twitter, and I'm like, oh my God, that's so weird. That's so weird. I don't think you need a fluffer, because, you know, you're not seeing it. Look at him. And the guy with the camera, it's like, please stop touching my fucking knees. I like how every now and then he has to touch the girl just to kind of make sure it's like, I'm still straight. I was touching you when I was getting aroused. Because look at him, he'll reach over. She's not in frame. And hopefully the camera doesn't show him reaching over, because it's like, what are you grabbing, buddy? What is that? Oh, those supposed to be your boobs? Are those supposed to be your boobs? When he's touching like above touching above his kneecaps? Is that what's happening? Oh, watch this. I think those are her boobs. Right there. Oh, this is the best. It's like, get her boobs, man. Get them. What if it fucks him up and he just starts getting a fetish for above people's kneecaps? Just that little section right there. Anyway, ultra soft porn, right? This will be us. Yeah, Radical says this will be us in the future with all the VR. That's right. That's exactly right. Okay. True Blood rocked. Yeah, I never really watched much of it. I don't know why. I love the guy who created it. But maybe I expected more vampire stuff right out the gate, and it, you know, Mutant Mo says this is so staged. Well, they're making a movie. Of course it's staged. What do you mean? What? They're not making a porn. This is like a movie. This is I think this is like a real movie is what this is, like a, you know, TV show or something. Anyway, Vera's going to have a field day clipping it. Let her clip it. Let her, what? Good. Vera Dark. Hello, Vera Dark. What? Who cares? God. Think about that for a minute. I went out and found some new content. What is she doing? Farming the old. Did you watch the Snow White? I'm going to tell you something. I can't play it for you, of course. But did you watch the Snow White trailer? Everybody's bitching about the Snow White trailer. I understand people bitching about the Snow White trailer when the dwarfs were what they used to look like, right? Which is original dwarf Snow White live action, right? They were what a lot of you kids would call woke, which it was weird to me. Not that they were woke or not, but it's like, dude, if you're going to fucking make a movie based on the Snow White, why are these the seven dwarfs? Shut up. You fucking idiot. This is a stupid decision. So they did change them, right? They changed them to be traditional dwarfs, which is great. Fine. But people are still bitching about the movie. PK says the girl who plays her is a narcissist. Isn't anyone who wants to be an actor or an actress a narcissist? She was great in West Side Story. She seems great in this. You know, if I had kids of the age this was made for, they would be fucking all over this. There's nothing wrong with black dwarves. I don't think it was the fact they were black. I think it was the fact that most of them weren't even dwarves. Okay, so Blackie Cat says they weren't dwarves in that picture. They were just magical creatures. Okay, and that's fine. That's a nice take. But when you're making like a $300 million, again, this goes back to a lot of the things we've been talking about with video games, where if you want to make something that's really unique and an interesting take on something like the Snow White movie, and you're going to go back to the original Grimm's fairy tale, and maybe they weren't dwarves, but they were all magical or whatever, cool. But don't make it a $300 million Disney movie called Snow White that all the kids grew up watching the cartoons, and now they're like, what the fuck is this? But yeah, if you want to do a, you know, Guillermo del Toro is doing a new take on the Snow White myth, and he's actually going to only spend $60 million and tell you the true Grimm's fairy tale version. Okay, that's cool. That's pretty fucking cool. But that would be my only complaint of that. But to do it in this, which is a big family Disney thing, why would you do that? She was cheering for Palestine when Gal Gadot was cheering for Israel, as her co-star. But why can't she be ignorant? How old is this girl? Rachel Ziegler. Is she like 22? Let's see. How old Rachel Ziegler? She's 23 years old. Let the woman, even if you're 43, but I mean, can the kid not have some opinions about things that you don't agree with? I don't give a shit that she, look, I support Palestine too, but I also support Israel's right to defend itself. And I also support the fact that we shouldn't be, contributing to Israel's defense in the way that we are, but I also want to help them defend themselves. It's a nuanced thing. Can we not just appreciate that for a moment and just go, look, she's got a different opinion, but I don't know what she said though. I don't know what she said. So maybe she's like, I hate all Jews. And I'm like, okay, maybe that's a bad idea. Why do people keep acting like Israel-Palestine issue is black and white, says Doomslayer? Because we're a world and a country of idiots. Social media is phenomenal. Internet's phenomenal. But the biggest problem with it is the echo chamber shit. It is not black and white. Come on. Of course not. Do I support Ukraine? I do. She said she didn't like the OG Snow White. It was problematic. I haven't watched it in ages, but maybe it is. What did she say was problematic about it? Let's see. Old Snow White problematic. What did she say? How Rachel Ziegler angered both Disney fans and conservatives. Okay, let's find out. Okay. There's a big focus on the love story, she says in the movie, with the guy who literally stalks her. It's true. Calling it weird. It's true. It's really not about the love story at all. A change she deems wonderful. Instead, it's about her inner journey to find her true self. Yeah. What's the problem? Seemingly all of TikTok and not just the weird red, white, and blue corners is mad. There seem to be a few common reasons. First, fans of the original aren't taking kindly to what they feel are disparaging comments about their beloved childhood staples. Well, grow up. Shut the fuck up. I mean, I sat, is my mic too hot? I can turn it down. I sat in the audience at USC when The Little Mermaid was about to open, and the director came, it was just one director, two director, Gil Keane, I think his name was, or whatever. Okay, I'll turn the gain down. Let me know if it's any better. I sit in that audience and everybody loved it. And this one woman in the back raised her hand because it was Q&A after the movie. And she says to the director of The Little Mermaid, I love the movie. It's great, but I don't like the idea that she basically is giving up her voice for a man. Like she's giving up what she's good at just to follow some guy, let alone a guy she barely knows. And the whole audience at the time was like, oh, shut up, you fucking, feminist studies, blah, blah, blah. And now you look at Snow White, not Snow White, you look at The Little Mermaid, and you're like, yeah, that's a totally valid point. If you look at a lot of these older movies, they are, for modern day people, who have grown and evolved, they are, I guess the word she used, or you guys said she used, was problematic. It is a problem. It doesn't mean it's a shit movie, but it's of its time. Walt Disney himself used negative terms today for black people and Indian people, and I think Jewish people. And not that he didn't like any of them, as far as we know. There's a lot of debate over that, but he was a man of his time, and that's how people talked. This is sort of where the culture was. It's still a great movie, a classic movie for a million reasons. But why in the world can't someone say that, yeah, if you're going to make a movie today, and it's like you know better, you do better, is the quote from Maya Angelou, and I think it's absolutely true. You know good and well that if you were to write a movie that wasn't called Snow White or Sleeping Beauty, and there's this woman who's asleep and this prince sees her from afar, and suddenly he goes and just, now, if somebody came to him and said, the weird thing, buddy, your kiss will wake her up. We don't know why, but it will. Okay, that's different. But he's just kissing some random girl that's asleep. You'd go, that's a little creepy. Could we make a couple of changes on that? That's not woke. What's woke about that? Well, called the movie another thing and not Snow White, you fart, says Lob, saying, okay, well then to that, you're not as clever as you think you are, bitch, because who do you think came up with Snow White? If that's the case, then what you're saying is Walt Disney shouldn't have called his movie Snow White, because he didn't write Snow White. He got Snow White from fairy tales that predated him by what, 200 years, 100 years, probably like 150 years. You think The Little Mermaid was written by Walt Disney or his company or by Katzenberg? No. So don't fucking come at me, you uneducated horse's ass, and act like you've got a gotcha when you say, well, don't call it Snow White. You don't fucking call it Snow White, you fucking uneducated whore. What are you talking about? Good God. Jaffe thoughts on OnlyFans girl making $43 million a year. Is it fair that she can make so much money with no talent? She's got plenty of talent. What talent doesn't she have? She understands how the business world works. She put out a product that people want. You know, back in the day, they didn't talk down on the original. Well, they cut out a lot of shit from a lot of these originals. You know the original Cinderella story literally has the sisters, in order to fit in the slipper, taking entire chunks of flesh and bone out of their feet just so they can conform their feet to fit in the fucking glass slipper. What are you talking about? You know, they always change that shit. Original Snow White's a German fairy tale, first written in the 1800s, right? And the Brothers Grimm's published it in 1812. I love this. Why are you so easy to get upset? I thought you was intelligent. Well, I mean, that comment speaks for itself. I'm not, but again, it's not upset. It's passion. It's interest. I'm fascinated. I'm sorry if that reads as upset to you. I'm not upset. I'm amazed. I mean, don't you ever get excited when you talk about something? Don't you ever get passionate and curious about things? And if not, I think Zoloft might need to be in your future, or at least a conversation where you lie on a couch and say, my mom, because what? It's not, you think I'm angry? You think I'm going to go off the stream at the end and go, I'm so fucking mad, man. This motherfucker's talking about Snow White. What's the matter with you? It's just passion, you moron. It's interest. Rachel Ziegler did say she hoped everyone who voted for Trump suffers for the rest of their lives. Is insane. I think that's not wise. I do think if you're any age, but certainly in your early 20s and you're slowly becoming politically active, there is some hyperbole that goes there, that if you are interested in a career, here's what I'll say. If she said that, first, let's find out if she actually said it. And I'm not saying you're wrong, but a lot of times, you know, did Rachel Ziegler say she wanted Trump supporters to suffer? Okay, so she said something. Let's find out. Let's see what she said. She let her emotions get the best of her. Come on. Where's the message, though? I want to see the message she wrote. Oh, Megyn Kelly. Shut up, Megyn Kelly, idiot. She hoped Trump supporters and Trump voters and Trump himself may never know peace. Okay. So here's what I think. She has a right to think that, and she has every right to say that. And I think we should give people under a certain age a little bit of a break, because they're passionate, they're young, blah, blah, blah. But regardless, though, if you want to be fair and if you want to be Disney, I mean, the film's already shot, so they're not going to fire her. But if she was on a television show, you probably should fire her. Not that I don't agree with her 100%. I mean, I don't want people to suffer and not know peace, but I can't stand Donald Trump, and I can't stand a lot of people who support certain policies of his. But if you're going to fire that Gina Carano woman from Mandalorian for saying something basically ignorant about the Holocaust, and she's older than Ziegler, and that's sort of the Disney policy, then you should fire her too. But again, you can't fire her because she doesn't really work for Disney. The movie's over. Now, if you rehire her and you feel that, and not because Disney is sitting there making a moral choice, but because the whole reason you fired Gina Carano is they didn't fire her, at least they shouldn't, because, you know, she has a right to her stupid opinion, just like this Ziegler has a right to her stupid opinion. But they fired her because they didn't want it to hurt business and it was going to be a bad look. Well, as much as I can't stand Trump and as much as I think MAGA is really horrible, you may not be horrible if you voted for Trump, but I do think the whole movement is horrible for the most part. I would say that, yeah, I mean, you're pissing off half your audience or almost half your audience or whatever. So yeah, if she was on a TV show, I would say that's absolutely right. But anyway, shouldn't she also get as many warnings as Gina did? I don't know if Gina got 5 warnings. Sure. I don't have any idea, the specifics of it other than I saw Gina Carano's tweet on Instagram about the Holocaust. And then I saw that she was, fired. I don't know anything about, did they give her 5 warnings or what? I don't know how that works. Why is this hard? Atar, why are you guys so fascinated by if I'm a Jew or not? What does it matter? Are you a Jew, says Atar? I get Italian vibes from you, both in looks and the way you talk. Well, here's how you know I'm not Italian, because I love the Olive Garden. If I was in Italy and there was a authentic Italian restaurant where they invented the first marinara dish and there was an Olive Garden next to it, I would go to the Olive Garden because they have free breadsticks and the fettuccine is amazing. But that said, my dad's part of the family, Lithuania, Jews up and down, any which way you slice it. Jew. Where's the matzah? Where's the menorah? My mom's side of the family, not that this is a race, but Southern Baptist religion, some Cherokee, Native American, I think German, Sweden, something like that. So whatever that makes me ethnically, that's what I am, which is a mutt, I assume. Religiously, I've been an agnostic atheist since I was 7. So, you know, do with that what you will, my good friend. Let me pull this chat down 1 second. I'm sorry, fellas. Do you believe Trump will release the Diddy list? I don't know. I hope he's got better things to worry about. Right? Who doesn't love breadsticks? This is the thing. Rachel Ziegler called Jeremy Renner a racist, sexist, transphobic garbage monster based on nothing. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I don't have any data, but if she did that and it was based on nothing, that seems pretty not good. Lutron says, Jaffe, how'd you like the 30th anniversary PlayStation 5 theme sound? I fucking love the PS1 boot up. What I said to people the other day was, you know, I don't have a real, you know, if it was Atari, then I would be like all over it because that was what I came up with. But given that that's not what I came up with and I was working in the business, I don't have that same kind of nostalgia that a lot of people do. But if it was Atari, if you're responding to it the same way I would respond to Atari, it must be insane. Just wonderful. Just wonderful. So, okay. You know what? I think that's it for now. I think that's the Jaffe stream for today because I got to go plan. I'll be back later this afternoon. Thank you guys. Let me make sure I got all the super chats. Thank you guys for hanging out with me, spending some time with me. I had a lot of stories lined up. I'll get to those tomorrow on the Jaffe stream in the morning. But I'll be back tomorrow for this show, and then the Gabbin' and Games, which is pure video game, that is coming up later today around 3:30ish, give or take. So if you're into that sort of shenanigans, come hang out. Let's talk games. A lot of stuff going on. And what do I got lined up? I mean, we're going to talk about. Let me see if I have it. 1 second. Let me see what my list is so far. I'm building it. It takes time to figure out what the topics are, but let me see what I have listed so far. In fact, let's just go to the game tab. Let's see what's open. Let's see what's happening in the world of games. What's the big news for the day? More layoffs. Stalker 2. Crash is out today. Crash Team Racing is out today. I'll try that before the show. Infinity Nikki is out today, or tomorrow. You see that Mattel is being sued by a mother for the Wicked misprint. I'm glad I bought one. But anyway, that's coming up around 3:30 this afternoon. In the meantime, consider subscribing, consider liking, consider a membership. Don't forget Lunch with Jaffe's coming up this Thursday, tomorrow at 12:30, Cult of Calypso and above. Yeah, there you go. But seriously, I appreciate you guys spending some time with me watching, talking fun stuff, and hopefully I'll see you today in the afternoon show or tomorrow. Otherwise, regardless, be well, be safe, and I'll see you soon. Bye, you guys.